Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. So in this video we're going to be talking about trickstab mentality, because the hard part of the trickstab isn't the stab part. Most of the time that's literally just turn 180, click M1, or left, right, M1. That's not the hard part. The hard part is manipulating the enemy and setting up a stab that's either difficult to predict, difficult for them to react to, or a combination of the two. So here I trickstab this medic. I move very slightly to the right, and then I move heavily to the left and turn my mouse a little bit so I'm facing towards where he's just turned. Basically what this does, he walks towards me when I turn to the right, so his body is turned. And when I move to the left, his back is closer to my model, which makes it much easier to get the stab. Because backstabs, they work in a sort of weird 180 radius. You don't actually have to be facing their back directly. So I know if I can get him to turn at least a little bit to the right, I can stab him very easily from the left. In the same life, we go on to stab this medic again. I know because I've already trickstabbed him that it is possible to trickstab this guy. Some people are very smart, they play very cleverly, and they will never get trickstabbed, or at least extremely rarely. This guy, I know he's already fallen for it once, and I can use that to my favour because he's going to be pissed. He's not going to want to make the same mistake again. So you can see here that he starts healing me, and then he realises, that's a spy. So he runs at me blindly in a sort of, almost in a rage, and he pulls his melee out, which is a massive mistake. And I know exactly where he's going to go. He's going to follow me, so I can take this stab without even thinking about it. What he should have done in that situation is not approach me and try to do as much damage as he can from a distance. Even if I hadn't been there, he would have got killed by my teammates anyway because his team had just been pushed back. And that's because he was tricked by the spy earlier, and he wants to get some sort of revenge. People get tunnel vision when there's a spy pissing them off, and you can really use that to your advantage. If we just rewind to the middle of this life, I get a really easy side stab on this engineer. I can see really easily from the direction that he's walking that he's going for the sentry and not for me. So I know roughly where his back is going to be, roughly how much I need to turn in order to get the stab. This next clip shows one of my favourite types of trick stabs to do, and that's off the own engineer's sentry. I can tell from the fact this guy's running directly at me that he's going to try and melee me, or at least get the sapper off his sentry before attacking me. He probably thinks that I'm trapped and I've got nowhere to go, but of course it's the exact opposite. What he should have done, and what would have prevented me from trying a trick stab, is if he'd shot me with a shotgun from a distance. I would have had much less opportunity to get a stab or even some shots off on him before he'd kill me in that instance. Here, this engineer basically panics. I run into him suddenly, and he doesn't think I'm a spy at first until I start attacking him. So he panics, he puts his sentry down because he can't shoot me until he's done that. And I'm fairly confident then that he's just going to chase after me because essentially he's flustered, he's not thinking fully. He's not thinking, oh my god, there could be a trick stab here. He's just thinking, oh god, I've got to get this guy now. And that basically makes him really predictable, and you can get off a pretty easy trick stab. Here we've got two pyros doing what pyros do best, and that's walking forward, holding M1, and in this instance with the Phlogistinator. The fact that they are using the Phlogistinator tells me that they're probably not here for high level gameplay, which means that they're likely to fall for a trick stab, and also the fact that there's two of them here means that even if I miss the first one or cock it up, there's a chance that I'll actually get a stab on the second one. Also, the flames from the Phlogistinator are blocking their view a little bit, so it's possible they won't see my strafe back here. I managed to pull it off, and I managed to get away from the second one as well. Of course, this is just a generalization. Not every person using the Phlogistinator will be a noob or easy to trick stab, but on the balance of probability, I risked it here and it did pay off. This next stab works because the guy I stab is distracted. I'm disguised as a scout and I'm jumping on boxes, so he's probably not thinking, well, that could be a spy, especially when he's thinking, okay, let's kill the sniper that I've already been trying to kill. So he probably doesn't even realise I'm there, and even if he does realise I'm there, there's a very small chance that he realises I'm a spy, which makes it really easy for me to get a stab. This final clip is a really satisfying stab on another medic. Basically, this medic and Heavy have been buddying each other for like an hour in this server, so I'm confident when I stab this Heavy that the medic is probably going to be upset about it and he's going to try and chase me down. That allows me to get ready to trick stab before I've even stabbed the Heavy. I know already, before I even stab him, that I'm going to walk halfway up these stairs and check if the medic is following me. It only takes a split second for me to check if he's following me, which he is, and I can turn around and stab him without hardly even thinking, because I've already done the thinking before I've done the stab. So, to summarise the mentality points that I touched on here, it largely boils down to understanding the particular players you're playing against, or just generally manipulating their movements. If someone's unsuspecting of a trick stab, they're obviously much more likely to fall of it. So, in the very first clip, the medic was healing me, so he probably didn't even realise I was a spy. So I can manipulate his movements then, without the risk of him trying to attack me. In the last clip, I understood the two players were friends, or at least playing together quite a lot. So you can sort of lead them certain ways based on how you act with them, the more you understand the people you're against. Of course, there's a lot more to understanding other players' mentality and pulling off trickstabs in general than what I've touched on in this video. So I'll get some more clips which are in completely different situations and things I've got more to say about basically, and I'll probably do another episode like this. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you do. Obviously give it a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and as always please let me know what you think, good or bad, because I'm always looking to improve. Thanks everyone.